Hi, I'm Heather. Welcome to class. Today we're going to work on a number of different variations of Urdhva Dhanurasana, the upward facing bow pose, sometimes known as the wheel pose. And we're going to work in such a way that it's approachable for beginners.
Before we begin, if you find this video helpful, be sure to like and subscribe. Hit the bell so you're notified when a new video is available.
One of the things that we need to work on is the opening of our shoulder joints in this position. We're going to utilize a chair and a bolster over the seat of the chair, like so, to lie back over and reach the hands down the wall to encourage that opening in the shoulder joint. So as we sit on the front of the bolster, draw the tailbone and the buttock flesh towards the knees, keep the knees bent, lie back and make sure that you're supporting the base of the skull. Reach the hands towards the wall, and ideally the palms can be flat on the wall and the hands are reaching down. Now this depends on the mobility you have in your shoulder joints. Perhaps you're quite stiff there, in which case the hands are more your shoulder height, but don't have the elbows bent. If the shoulders are mobile enough, you slide the hands down lower than the level of the shoulders. We want to push the palms into the wall and squeeze the elbow tips in so that the arms are strong and straight. When we come to the final pose, lifting up from the floor requires a good degree of strength in the shoulders and upper arms. So that's one of the reasons why we'd work with straight arms here. If you have the capacity, we'll work towards straightening the legs. Slowly creep the feet away from you, and you might find it's quite strong in the lower back, in which case you could keep the knees bent. But if you can manage, work towards straightening the legs, push the heels away from you, and gently peel the metatarsals, the toe bones, back towards you. And perhaps you can explore digging the heels down with the knees bent, sliding a little further over, looking towards the hands. Make sure your hands are in line with each other, and then again, work towards straightening the legs. Internally rotate your thighs, the inner thighs rolling down towards the floor, keeping the lower back rib area broad. Now bend up the knees, feet to the floor, walk your hands up the wall, and as we sit up, you might like to support your neck, support your head. One hand can hold your head as you come to sit all the way up. And let's sit for a moment. Find neutral, rest your hands on your thighs. Keep the spine neutral, watch that you're not letting the lumbar dig in, and rest. We'll use another setup now with the chair and the bolster. Now the bolster's standing tall, leaning against the backrest. Sit on the front of the chair. Lean back into the bolster and let the head be supported there. And feel you're working to press the feet into the floor. Keep the knees and feet hip width apart. Interlock your fingers. Inhale, take your arms up and overhead. Challenge the opening in the shoulders this way, but watch that you're not allowing the lumbar and lower back ribs to pull dramatically away from the bolster. Can you keep some length there? Now let's swap the interlock of the fingers. And again, as you stretch your arms up and over, can you keep some length in the lumbar spine and the lower back ribs? Go on pressing into the feet. Then lower the arms, and now bring your heels to the legs of the chair to stabilize the chair. This time we're going to lift the hips up a little to encourage the head to draw back, to look to the wall behind us. Now this is where perhaps some fear sets in for some people, because when we go backwards. It's the unknown. And hopefully this practice will help us face those fears. Dig your heels into the chair. That's really important so the chair does not move. Hold on to the arms of the chair as you lean back. Lift your hips up now. Keep the heels digging into the chair. The bolster will move with you. Let the head rest back on the bolster and allow yourself to explore this idea of slightly tipping the head backwards. Look towards the wall and then come back down, buttocks to the chair. Have a moment of rest. This is helping us develop awareness of the leg strength that's required for Urdhva Dhanurasana. Again, use your hands on the chair arms to give you support. And as you lift your hips up, go on digging the heels into the chair. Internally rotate your thighs so the inner thighs roll down and lean back and keep your chest stable through the action of the hands and the legs, looking towards the wall behind you, and then come back down. And again, have a moment of rest. This time, as we take ourselves back, we're going to reach the arms up and over towards the wall behind us. So as you're ready, lean back, lift your hips up as you dig your heels into the chair legs, look back towards the wall and take your hands up and over towards the wall. Similar to the pose that we were just doing when we were lying over the bolster flat on the chair seat. Reach to the wall with straight arms. Now clearly this is where you'll need to navigate. Are you close enough to the wall? Are you too far away from the wall? Do you need to come down and readjust? Let's come down, have a moment of reprieve. Again, sitting straight for a moment. Remember, we're using the heels, digging the heels into the chair legs to support the stability of the chair. Let's go again. Lean back, lift the hips up, roll the outer hips up towards the ceiling. And as you look back to the wall, take your hands down the wall, push into the palms, squeeze the elbow tips in so the arms are strong and straight. And you're looking back towards the wall in the direction of the hands, encouraging extension in the neck and developing the courage to be upside down in this manner. Now, as we come out, you can walk your hands back up the wall, reach your hands to the chair and come to sit down. And again, we'll have a moment of rest. Now, with the mat and the chair right up against the wall, we're going to start by sitting on the bolster in front of the chair. Then we lean back so the upper spine comes onto the seat of the chair. And then to bring the head onto the seat of the chair, we'll need to lift the hips. Reach your hands back to the arms of the chair, lift your hips up and allow your head to come onto the seat of the chair. Roll your inner thighs down as the outer hips lift up and pressurize your inner feet down. So we're bringing awareness into the way that we're working the legs. Now we're going to lift up the back from the chair and come onto the crown of the head. Push your hands into the chair, lift yourself up and come onto the crown of the head. The hands are pressing into the arms of the chair. We're moving the thoracic spine deeply in towards the breastbone and then come back down, upper back coming to rest on the chair seat. We're going to go again and see if we can walk the hands further up the chair. Inhale deeply. Press into the feet as you exhale. Push into the hands. Curl your back as the crown of the head comes onto the chair seat. And then perhaps walk your hands a little higher up the chair. As you then push into the chair, lift your head up off the chair. Roll your inner thighs down as you press the inner feet down. Draw the outer hips up. Then come back down onto the crown of the head. Walk your hands a little further down the chair arms. Come back onto your shoulder blades, your upper back, and let's come out of the pose and have a moment of rest. So we lower the hips to the bolster and come to sit up. Now as we sit, there may be the tendency to want to round the back and collapse the chest. Resist that tendency, sit up straight. We're wanting to maintain the opening in the chest that we've been working with. In this variation, we find how much work is required in the arms and the legs to lift ourselves up. Eventually, we're lifting up off the floor. However, here, obviously, we're just lifting up off the chair. So again, lean back into your chair, spread the toes, broaden the balls of the feet, and make sure you're not turning your feet out. The knees often want to widen as the thighs roll out, but let's see, can we keep the feet parallel, pressurize the inner feet down, roll the inner knees down as you lean back, lift the hips up and reach your hands to the chair arms. Pause there. Press your hands to the chair arms as you exhale, lift onto the crown of the head's on your chair. Again, you pause there. Then, on your next exhalation, push into the chair to lift your head up. Roll your inner thighs down as you press the inner feet down. Draw the outer hips up. Then come back down onto the crown of the head. Lift your head. Come onto the back of the head, the upper back. And then slowly lower the hips onto your bolster. Come to sit and have a moment of rest. Now, here's another setup. The chair is now tipped on its front, and I have a bolster on the back rungs of the chair and a brick underneath the bolster and another brick for my buttocks. I come to sit on the front brick. I lean back into my bolster. I'm holding the legs of the chair. Establish the position of the feet, bring the feet in close to the hips, pressurize the inner feet down as much as the outer feet, and then I'm going to lift my hips up so I can push the hands into the chair legs as I lift the hips up, and then I want to take the arms up so they don't get caught, the shoulders don't get caught in the other chair legs. Lift up, reach over to the wall. So again, there's this feeling of throwing the head back. You've got the bolster for support. Reach over to the wall. Find out, are you close enough to the wall to have the palms flat? Walk your hands down the wall. Walk your feet in if necessary. Push into the wall and feel that you have support there. Go on lifting the outer hips up. So don't let the hips sag down onto the bolster. Lift the outer hips up. Lift the middle buttocks up, direct your tailbone to the inner knees, and roll the inner knees down. And then as we come out, we lower the hips, walk the hands up the wall, and we raise the head up to come back to sitting. And once more, we take a moment to settle the breath. Now, perhaps from there, we'll be able to lift up off the support of the bolster. Let's see how we go. Lean back, walk your feet in, start to lift your hips up, then take the arms up, lean back, throw your head back. At this stage, the head is still supported on your bolster. Reach your hands to the wall, but don't walk them down so far. Keep your hands up, let's say about the height of the shoulders. Walk your feet in significantly, and as you push into the wall, lift your hips, push the hands into the wall, lift your torso, lift your rib cage, move the thoracic spine in towards your breastbone, and go on lengthening your tailbone to your knees as you roll your inner knees down, press your inner feet down. Then let's come down, bend the elbows, find the bolster, lower the hips, lift your head and slide back down and find your support. Now, I'm coming back to having the chair upright, and this time I have a folded sticky mat on the top of my chair. This is for padding as well as for sticking to the chair. I'm going to have my shoulder blades coming onto the top of the chair as I lift myself up and walk the hands down the wall. Very similar to what we just did, however, we're starting from a higher position. This way, We're wanting to open the shoulders more, challenge the opening in the thoracic spine and the shoulder joint a little more. Again, we need to anchor the chair by pressing the heels into the chair legs. That's really important. If you don't do that, the chair will tip and you may fall over. Heels dig into the chair legs, lean back and ensure that your shoulder blades are on the top of the chair. So we're already arching the back. Initially, let's hold the chair arms. Dig the heels into the chair legs as you lift your hips up. Throw the head back, find the wall. Now, clearly I'm very close to the wall, but I'm going to see, can I slide my hands down the wall? This might feel very strong for the shoulders, in which case you might find the elbows are bent. Explore whether you can straighten the elbows. And if that feels too strong, you need to come out of the pose, take your chair further away from the wall. But if you can manage here, the hands are level. Can you look back at your hands? Make sure one hand is not sitting wider to the side than the other. Make sure one hand is not further down the wall than the other. Hands are shoulder width. Press into the palms, press into the knuckles. Squeeze the elbow tips in. Rotate the tricep muscles towards the wall. Free up the neck. And then as you're digging the heels into the chair, grip the hamstring muscles as well as the quadriceps. Draw the outer hips up. Then walk your hands back up the wall. You might like to hold the head, support the head as you come to sit back up, particularly if you feel a little weak in your neck. And let's sit for a moment and recover the breath. Remember that as we sit, we want to find neutral. We're not sitting in the lumbar lordosis and we're not collapsing the chest. All of the variations we've done so far are very wrist friendly. And I say that specifically because when we do Urdhva Dhanurasana in the classic variation, lifting up from the floor, the hands are tucked underneath the shoulders and the wrists are in a very strongly extended position, which can be problematic for some people. We're going to do another variation now where we will be lifting up from lower down. We'll start on a bolster or two first before we go all the way to the floor. But again, it's wrist friendly. For those who find it difficult to lift up from the floor due to feeling the arms are not so strong, we'll start with 2 bolsters, the height of 2 bolsters. Now you might only have 1 bolster at home, in which case you can pile up some blankets as creating the height of another bolster. But we're going to lie back, the chair is now touching the wall. Make sure there's space between the chair and your bolsters for the head to drape down. Draw the tailbone towards your knees. Lie back and drape the head down towards the floor. And again, you can feel the base of the skull supported on your bolsters here. Reach your hands to the chair legs. You can have them close down towards the floor, elbows in. When we attempt to lift up, note how the elbows might want to splay out wide to the side. Eventually, we do want to guide the elbows in to shoulder width as we then work towards straightening the arms. Walk your feet in. Press the inner feet down as much as the outer feet. Push the hands into the chair. Make sure you feel your chair is firmly into the wall. And then lift your hips up. Come onto the crown of the head. So we're arching back over the bolster. Now, push strongly through the arms and the legs to see, can you lift up off the bolsters? Roll the triceps up. And maybe at this stage, the elbows are still a little bent. Let's come down. Again, rest on the bolsters. And for some of us, it is difficult to lift up off the bolsters. But we keep working. We keep applying ourselves. Walk the feet in a little more. Inhale. Exhale as you push into the feet, lift the hips up. Then push into the hands, lift the torso up. Can you pressurize the inner feet down as you lift the outer hips up? Then slowly come back down. Crown of the head towards the floor. Upper back supported on your bolsters. Now, You might like to support the head as you lift yourself up, all the way up. And we're going to see if we can eliminate one bolster. Now, we can bring the belt into place to guide the arms, guide the elbows. This can be handy if you make your belt shoulder width apart, make your loop shoulder width apart, so that if you place that just above your elbow creases, you hold your arms out, your hands are shoulder width. This can help guide the arms. Just start with around one elbow as you lie back. Drape your head down, back of the neck supported as you drape your head down towards the floor. Then place the belt around your second elbow. Have it very close to the elbow crease. Then take your hands to the chair legs. Walk your feet in. Press the inner feet down. We lift the hips up first, start to activate the strength of the legs. Inhale. Exhale, drive the feet down as you lift your hips up, then push into the hands to lift the torso up. Work towards straightening the arms. So here you may be able to walk your feet in. As you walk your feet in, then can you straighten your arms without pulling your chest away from the chair. Move the chest further towards the chair, draw the thoracic spine into the sternum, and go on rolling the outer hips up towards the ceiling as you contract the hamstring muscles, the muscles on the back of the thighs. Then come down, bend the elbows, bring the crown towards the floor, upper back, buttocks onto your bolster, remove your belt. And then for a moment, can you slide yourself further down the bolster so that the head is supported and it's not thrown back anymore. Find a resting position here. Lower back long and broad, back ribs broad. And then we'll come to sit up. You might like to roll over to come up. Some of us may be capable of lifting up directly from the floor, hands on the chair. We're going to do one more with hands on the chair. And if you're feeling the pressure of the chair on your palms, then perhaps you can find something soft to use as padding. I have bits of cut up sticky mat that I can sometimes use here under the palms. Lie back. Bring your head just between the legs of the chair, and you can use your belt if that gives you good support. Walk your feet in. Hold the chair legs. Inhale deeply. Roll the inner thighs down as you exhale. Lift the hips, draw the outer hips up, come onto the crown of the head. Pause there, feed the upper arm bones back into the shoulder joint. Draw the shoulder blades away from the neck. Inhale. Exhale, push into the hands, lift yourself up off the floor, work towards straightening your elbows. Go on pressing the inner feet down. Direct your tailbone towards your knees and direct your upper thoracic spine towards your sternum. Then bend the elbows, crown to the floor, and tuck the chin, back of the head to the floor, shoulder blades to the floor. Remove your belt, rest. Take the feet as wide as the mat, as the knees press against each other to rest. If you are managing to lift up from the floor or even up off one bolster or two bolsters, we can integrate from using the chair to using bricks underneath the hands. You'll see that I've got these bricks set on a diagonal. If you have a skirting board, you can angle your bricks up onto the skirting board. Clearly here on this wall of cupboards, I don't have a skirting board, but make use of one if you do have one. Have a gap between your bricks so that the crown of the head can come to touch the wall as we lie down and set ourselves for the pose. With the bricks angled like this, it's easier on the wrists. That's why we might start with the bricks on the diagonal. Lie down, bring the crown to the wall, walk the feet in and take the fingers back towards you as you bring your hands onto the bricks. Curl the fingers down the edges of the bricks towards you, towards the floor, as the heels of the hands come onto the bricks. Again, keep the feet parallel to each other. And if the belt is helpful for you to guide the arms in, guide the elbows in, use your belt. For some of us, lifting up only through the hips is as far as we can make it. For others, we can potentially lift up and come onto the crown of the head, but it's hard to lift all the way up off the floor. So it's a matter of practice and developing our strength. Let's see how we go. Inhale. Exhale. Push into the feet as you lift your hips. Watch you're not turning the knees out. Lift the hips, then push into the hands, come onto the crown of the head. So the upper back's off the floor and feed the upper arms back into the shoulder joint. Inhale, then exhale. Push into the hands, lift yourself up off the floor, roll the tricep muscles towards the wall and move the thoracic spine in towards the sternum, sternum towards the wall. Direct your tailbone to the knees, outer hips up, and go on pressing the inner feet down. Bend your elbows towards the wall, elbows towards the wall, so that when you come down, the crown of the head can come back to touch the wall. Between your bricks, rest the arms, take your feet as wide as the mat, and rest the knees against each other as you relax. Let's try one more variation of the bricks. This is if the wrists feel okay about being in that extended position. So again, we've got the head between the bricks. Now the bricks are up on blade shape and I want to curl the fingers back down towards the floor. Initially, the heels of the hands will not touch the bricks. It's when you lift up that they will come to land on the bricks. So I've got the knuckles of the fingers, knuckles and pads of the fingers on the front edge of the bricks, and I'm preparing to press the heel of the hand into the brick when I lift up. Inhale. Exhale. Outer hips lift. Come onto the crown. Elbows to the wall. Can you pause here with your forearms touching the wall, elbows to the wall? Now for a moment, can you draw the head back towards the feet more to get more curling action in the thoracic spine? As you're ready then, exhale, push into the hands to straighten your arms. Roll the outer hips up. And perhaps you can lift your heels, walk the feet in, go on lifting the outer hips up, moving the thoracic spine into the sternum, sternum to the wall as you ground the heels down again. Breathe smoothly. Bend the elbows back to the wall, crown to the wall, come all the way down and rest. Then as you're ready, you can roll over to the side and come to sit up. Now to release the back, hug the right knee into the chest. Keep the left leg bent initially. Then swap your legs. So as you hug the left knee into the chest, keep the right leg bent. Then replace the left foot to the floor. Take your belt and stretch the right leg up straight. So we do Supta Padangusthasana, number 1. Stretching the hamstrings, but also helping to relieve the back. Lower back long, keep the left knee bent. when we do Urdhva Dhanurasana, we're contracting these hamstring muscles. So now we're relieving them, releasing them by stretching and opening them. Let's swap the legs. Keep the right leg bent as you stretch the left leg up straight. Open the back of the left thigh, back of the left knee. And release the left leg. Hug both knees into the chest. And perhaps you'd like to rock to the right side. Use your elbow as that point where you stop. Then rock to the left side. Use your left elbow as a point where you stop. So we're getting a little bit of a twist in the spine, which can also be helpful in releasing the back from back bends. And then you can release, rest the feet down, extend the legs, and again, rest there. Back bends can be incredibly stimulating, and it's great to do a variation of shoulder stand, something that's soothing, calming and quietening to help balance us out. So I'd recommend, if you are feeling very tired after this back bend practice, lie with your legs up the wall, buttocks into the wall, no bolster under the back of the hips, just allow the lower back to soften and spread onto the floor, and enjoy. That's it for today. Thanks for joining me.
For more in-depth teaching, check out the video library on my website, heatherkitchenyoga.com.au. The link is in the description box below.